Hi everyone, Azriel Knight here, and welcome to my preview of A Fortnight of Film. It has occurred to me that a lot of you never saw 30 Days of Night and have no idea what it is, and you might have seen my Kickstarter promotions over the last few weeks, but it's still not clicking for you. So I decided to do a one-shot, one-day preview. I guess you could call this Day Zero, where I give you a taste of what you can expect over the course of the 14-day film marathon. Just to break it down for you, A Fortnight of Film is going to be 14 different films in 14 days with 14 vlogs. I'm going to be vlogging every single day. You're going to see the whole process from me loading the camera, going out and shooting the roll, coming back here to the dark room. You're going to see the good and the bad. I'm going to shoot 35mm, 120, and instant film, maybe even some 110. I'm going to shoot black and white, color, and slide. I'm going to develop it myself whenever possible. Obviously, instant doesn't need to be developed. If I decide to shoot a roll of APS, for example, that's better off going to the drugstore for the 1-hour photo development. Right now, as it stands, I am sitting at 84% of my goal. So I'm hoping this last video will give you a taste of what you can expect. And all I need are a few more generous donors. Every dollar counts. I have a bunch of rewards listed and the link is in the description. So what am I going to be shooting with today? I am going to be shooting a roll of Ilford HP5 120 film. You'll notice it's not even HP5 plus. And this film expired in November 1981. So 39 years ago next month, this film expired. Probably means it was produced in 1978 or 1979. I'm not sure. If you know how long film was good for after it was produced, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested in hearing that. The box has never been opened, but the perforations have broken over time, so I'm really curious to see what the inside of the packaging looks like and what we can expect. Now, you're supposed to overexpose one stop per decade. So if we go back to 2010, one stop, 2000, that's two stops, 1990, that's three stops, and then 1981, that's basically four stops. I will be metering at ISO 25, but I won't be developing at ISO 25. What it'll do is it'll work out to an overexposure of four stops. So just for the sake of camera settings, I will use my light meter and I'll set it at ISO 25, and then I will just develop at box speed. So it'll be as if it overexposed by four stops. I'll probably use Kodak HC110 because it is a low fog developer, and fogging is one of the major side effects of expired film. As far as my camera goes, I will be using my Pentax 6.7, and so I can gather as much light as possible, I'll be shooting with my 105mm f2.4. I've shot lots of expired film before. I've got no idea how this is going to turn out. I am pretty excited because I've had that roll for, I want to say 5 years now. You know, I could have kept it in the freezer, and probably for a while it was in the fridge or the freezer, but really whatever has happened to it at this point has happened, and there's no way to know. The only thing that I'm going to consider is doing 3 stops instead of 4, and the reason for that is because it's still in the box. Now, if I knew it was in the fridge or freezer for its entire life, I would just shoot as normal. But because I'm not too sure, I'm going to do at least 3 stops of light. I figure if I do 3 stops and I'm off by 1 stop, not as big of a deal. If there's something that I really want to capture and I've got the time for it, I will do 2 exposures. One at 3 stops overexposed and one at 4 stops overexposed. So let's get this thing loaded into the camera. Oh, there is one last thing. The last time I shot some medium format expired film, one of the big problems that I had was that the tape that holds the backing to the film was so old that it just broke free and things got messy inside. I think I was using a Yashica 124G at the time, and it just all curled up inside the camera. So that's my main worry today. I have no idea if that's going to happen again. I don't think this film is as old as that other film I used, but I do have a backup roll of this, and if that does happen, well, then I'll just have to do it all over again. I'm not anticipating any problems this time because the insides of this camera is very different from that twin lens reflex. But nonetheless, if it happens, well, I called it, I guess. Let's get started. Okay, let's get this thing open, but first, let's just take a look at the packaging and take a little time to appreciate Ilford's classic packaging. This product will be replaced if defective. In case of professional and business users, no other liability whatsoever will be accepted, and all warranties, statutory, express, or implied, are excluded. Good to know. Recommended meter setting, ASA 400. There we go. That opened easier than I thought. So here's the packaging for the film itself. Comes with instructions. You don't see that anymore. Let's see if HC110's on here. No. So HP5 has changed over a while. What I'm likely going to do is compare like ID11 and see... Wow, 12 minutes at ID11. Okay. So we'll compare that to the massive dev chart and see exactly what it says for HP5 Plus, and then try and figure out some wiggle room in between there. Unexposed. Little tab here to pull off. All right, let's get it loaded into the camera. There we are. I always have trouble getting that on there. Paper definitely feels different than modern paper. All right, feels good so far. I didn't hear any crunching. I definitely felt crunching when I had that issue. Okay, nothing to do now but get this into my camera bag and hit the road. Okay, I've arrived in the neighborhood of Englewood. If you've been following me this year, then you know that I'm doing a project on this neighborhood. I thought, I've really shot this place a whole lot, but I should probably do something that I'm more familiar with for this preview. And I haven't shot any expired film here yet, so that's the excuse I'm giving myself. Now, one thing I'm going to be doing here is I will be wearing a mask, even though I'm outside. There are a couple of reasons I'm going to be wearing a mask outdoors. One is because in case I go inside, and the other reason is that cases are on the rise here in Calgary. A lot of people are expecting a second wave, and the sidewalks are pretty narrow. Now, if for some strange reason you are offended by me wearing a mask, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's 2020. Look away. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, how does that sound? I would say, at least in my ears, it sounds pretty damn close to where I was at before. So, all right, let's get started. I'm excited to shoot this roll and see how it turns out. Okay, one of the things that I've been doing so far is just using my trusty handheld light meter and just metering as I go along. Yeah, so far I got one shot. It's just in the shade, and I metered at 5.6 at 1/60 at ISO 25. I tell you, it doesn't take long to get through a roll on a Pentax 6.7. I'm already on shot 6, and the last shot I took is right behind me. Of course, love me some trains, and I can't resist, especially when they're nice and still and in good lighting. Yeah, so I took 2 shots of this train here, one at f2.4 at 1/250 and one at f4 at 1/125. So I'm hoping one of those will turn out. I thought I was going to meter at ISO 50 for most of this, but I just decided to go for the gusto and meter rate at ISO 25 and bracket if I thought it was necessary, by overexposing by only 3 stops instead of 4. So yeah, again, no idea how this is going to turn out. I got 4 shots to go, and I don't think it's going to take me very long. So far, so good, I think. I just revisited somewhere that I went to at night with my digital camera. Yeah, it's this weird glass window. Looks all beaten up. There's a big hole in it. I like the way the light from the trees fell on it, so I'm really hoping that one turns out. I mean, I hope they all turn out, but that one in particular, I'm really excited about that one, and the train one. Those are the 2 so far. I think I'm on shot 7 or 8 now, and I've sort of made a circle almost around back to my car. I mean, there's great shots everywhere, but the thing that I'm trying to avoid, at least for my sake, is shooting what I've already shot. Because, like I said, I've probably put 20 rolls of film at least through this, and I'm just trying to avoid repeating myself. So, moving on. Well, here it is, my last shot. I've shot this door a few times before. I know I just said I wouldn't repeat myself, but it's a different season. I got the fall leaves this time, and this barn is not going to be here for much longer, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's up for sale. That means usually that somebody's going to buy it, rip it down, and put condos in its place. So get every shot of it while you can before it's gone. Okie dokie, overall not too shabby. You can see a big patch of sweat where my stupid bag strap was. I prepared for the weather that it was, and not for the weather it was going to be. I mean, in the morning it was like 7 or 8 degrees, and with a high of 15 today, so it gets up to 15 pretty quick. And yeah, I was out for about an hour, I'd say. I got all my shots. I was pretty happy. I got some stuff that that I've taken before, but in different environmental situations, different times of day, different formats. And then I got some unique stuff. I got a sunflower, and again, might not turn out. None of it might turn out. But there was a bee. At least I think it was a bee. Could have been a wasp or a hornet, like right on the sunflowers. Huge stock of sunflowers, and I wanted to make sure I got the bee on it, so I did double up on that. And then for my last shot, I got that barn door. Pretty happy with that. And now I'm gonna head back and develop my roll. Okay guys, I'm back home now. I'm in the darkroom, and I am so ready to see the results of this. Like I said, I've had this roll for like 5 years. I've been waiting for the right time to shoot it, And yeah, let's find out. I don't think there's any problem with the film transfer. I didn't hear any crunching while I was going. Everything was just as smooth as shooting any other roll of film. So that's a plus. But let's unload it out of the camera and see what we get. Would you look at that? I even licked it and it stuck. That's fantastic. Well, I got it into the tank, no problems. I was a little worried because old film tends to curl really bad, but it mounted to the spool, no issues. And yeah, here we go. All right, it is sitting in the photo flow. I'm gonna let it sit there for about another minute, and then I'm gonna transfer it into my handy dandy salad spinner. Now you might ask, if you got the photo flow, why bother with the salad spinner? Isn't that kind of redundant? And to that I say, why do you got airbags if you have a seatbelt? Isn't that kind of redundant? I don't know, it was about 6 months ago. I had some issues with my film, and I was trying to pinpoint the single issue, the single solitary problem that I was having with the film, and I couldn't. And everybody was giving me different suggestions, and I just decided to kind of take everything, all the top answers as to why they think why the film wasn't developing properly or wasn't drawing properly, to be more accurate. And I sort of put it together into a new workflow. And that consisted of both using photo flow every single time, about 75% of normal strength, and then using the salad spinner just to get all the water off. So then that way the photo flow can use whatever remains, and the issue has not come up since. Not one time has the issue come up, knock on wood. So that's why I do it. It's a matter of redundancy. There's a reason why we've got dual card slots in our digital cameras, and we've got backup batteries with us when we're shooting film outdoors for cameras that require batteries, and why we bring extra rolls of film and everything, right? Everything that photographers do, when they're doing it smart, there's redundancies, and this is just another one of those. All right, should be ready now. I'm gonna pour this out. Now I want to do the blind reveal, but when I take it out, like I'm gonna be able to see the roll a bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pour out the photo flow, and then I'm gonna close my eyes as I put it into the salad spinner, and then dry it off in there, and then we'll have the big reveal. Okay, not looking. Oh, I can see the camera. Not looking, not looking. Taking the spool off here. All right, it's on there. All right, one sec. I just need to grab some gloves as I handle film only with gloves now, just in case oil's on hands or whatever. Okay, here we go. They look good. They look good. Yeah, guys, look at this. You can see right away, even on camera, the negatives look good. Oh, yes! I mean, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but exceeded my expectations. Let's get these things hung up. Be careful, dude. Oh my God. So of course I would be a total klutz putting those up. Hopefully they're okay. The one thing that I did notice is that the emulsion is just like falling off. It's just scraping right off. Hopefully it becomes a little bit more stable when it dries, but I'll have to handle it with kid gloves, that's for sure. Yeah, obviously you can see right here when the film dropped, I scraped the emulsion off with the hanger. Nothing I can do about that except just be way more careful after it dries. But yeah, this film has exceeded my expectations. 40 years expired. Super cool. I'm going to let this dry and then I'm going to get them scanned in, but you don't have to wait for that. Here are today's highlights. I have to say that those photos turned out way better than expected. Definitely less grainy than I had expected, and a decent amount of latitude. One of the only things that I noticed was the weakness of the emulsion. Like if you look at the negatives, they kind of look, I want to say wobbly, like the gelatin's uneven. I don't know how to describe it. It didn't really show up in the final image though, at least not a scan. I'd be curious to know how these archive over time, but I really enjoyed shooting it. I would definitely shoot another expired roll of Ilford HP5, and I have another roll, so given the opportunity with a fortnight of film, I might shoot the other roll. The main question I have for you guys is, what films do you want to see me shoot with during a fortnight of film? I've got a bunch already lined up, but if you leave your favorite film in the comments below, and of course if I make my funding, I will definitely consider it. It's been a great time shooting today. It's given me sort of working those vlogging muscles again and seeing how long things take and all that fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if it was too long, if it was just right, if some parts were too long and some parts weren't long enough. This really is like a demo for moving forward. For if and when I make my goal, I'll definitely take all of your advice into consideration. But yeah, that's all for now. If you'd like, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You can become my patron on Patreon. And until next time, stay classic.